Yesterday, I left you off with a bit of a bearish sentiment, and honestly, today there isn't really much to talk about. So I'll just replay through everything that happened yesterday, and then I'll just mention a few things here and there as they become relevant. So if you just look at the playback, we can see that yesterday was pretty much just a rangy, consolidating kind of day. So we did initially move upwards, we tried to make a high here, we got rejected, and that ended up creating this somewhat of a mini head and shoulders pattern here within this larger pattern. And then we, from there, continued to try and move higher. Just here, we did break that high there. But again, we just got rejected back down there. But this whole thing kind of looked somewhat like an ascending wedge type of pattern, a very short-term ascending wedge. So I was expecting here to break down, and then that would play into this bigger flag pattern and the head and shoulders where we would break down and then ultimately break through the neckline and head south. And we play out, and we did start breaking down there, and this is us back into real time. So we can see that we're actually making a challenge right now on the neckline. Depending on how you draw this, so this is potentially quite crudely drawn, we are actually breaking through it. So as I mentioned yesterday, from here, my strategy would be to let the market break down and round back and retest. So we might retest this level here. We might come back and retest the back of the trend line, or we might even come back up into this daily level. Either of them are valid. So I'm not going to just set a bid and wait. I'm going to watch the market as it approaches these areas and look for some price action confirmation that that is the area that we're going to turn around. If we don't get that, then I may end up missing the trade if we end up plunging from there, but that's a risk I'm willing to take to get a better entry. And I admit I will occasionally miss the trade, but that's just trading for you. Beyond that, there isn't really too much more to say that I didn't say yesterday, to be honest. Everything that I said yesterday is still valid. We're still in this flag formation. We're still looking to break down. My trade idea of breaking the head and shoulders and looking for a retest, that's still there. And all of the higher time frame things are still there as well. So I'll just hop over onto the daily, and zooming in, we can see that yesterday we put in a bit of an indecision candle. 2 days ago we had this big thrust up, and then we pulled back, and that's when this flag started to form. Yesterday we created this indecision candle, but really there isn't too much that we can glean from that, to be honest. We're still just in this flag formation, and we are potentially breaking out of it now, but there's no real actionable price action that I could take advantage of. But one thing that I do want to touch upon, if we come back down to the hourly so we can see a bit more of the price action. Yesterday we had all of this choppy, rangy kind of price action. And quite often traders get sucked into that. And it's something that you definitely need to be very consciously aware of, is that when the price is chopping like that, that's the algorithm's territory. That's the high frequency traders. We as individual retail traders do not want to get involved in areas like that, because you will get sliced to pieces, because your entries are never good. Your stops are very difficult to place. Your targets are anywhere. I mean, here we do have a bias of going short because we have the bear flag, we have this head and shoulders pattern, etc. But where'd you get in short? I mean, you could just whack a short in anywhere and say, like yesterday, you decided, oh, I'll get short here. But where'd you put your stop? Do you put your stop way above here? I mean, that's quite a wide stop, really. And then where are you going to run it down to? Here? I mean, you're getting slightly better than 1-to-1 there, but I mean, that's not going to win any awards in terms of risk to reward. So really, when I'm looking to trade, I'm looking for a very defined entry point where there is a very clear place to put the stop. But when we're chopping like this, that's just not possible. There is no clear entry point and there is no clear stop placement. So I just steer clear when this happens and wait for the better setup. And the better setup in this case is wait for the people who want to get involved in this chop to get sliced to pieces. Then the market will do its thing. And at that point, I look to find an entry. So in this case, that might be the breakdown and retest as I've explained, but we might end up faking out here and climbing to the upside, in which case maybe I'll get in on a break and retest of this level over on these highs here. I don't know. But at least with this break and retest kind of strategy, the entry is very defined and the stop placement is relatively obvious because it will be behind a previous swing point. But in my experience, getting involved in this kind of choppy market is just not where you're going to make any money. I've tried in the past many times and I've come out on the worst side of the market almost every single time. So learn from that, learn from my mistakes, and learn from the mistakes of every other trader that's ever done this, because lots of traders speak about avoiding this kind of environment. So heed that advice and avoid it at all costs. Find the better setups. Markets are continuously evolving and there is very often pretty decent setups for you to get involved in. So don't take the mediocre ones. Wait for the better ones. They will come, they will be more profitable, and if you avoid all the bad ones, your overall win rate will be phenomenal. So just take that on board and do what you will with it. But anyway, like I said, there's really not that much to say today. If you want an overview of what's going on in the market, take a look at yesterday's video because it is all there and it is all still valid. So with that said, I think that is enough for today's video. And I may or may not have a video out tomorrow because I'm traveling, I'll be flying, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to make one. But if I do, I will see you then. Otherwise, I will see you whenever I make another one.